terrifying and kind of hilarious at the same time. And you know, I don't know. How do you? I mean, yeah, this question's not going very well. I'm completely starstruck. But I mean, what are your recollections of Wild at Heart?
It's good to be here, everybody. Laura Dern, who I called a tidbit, she was afraid to come down here alone.
So I made him come with me.
She called up this afternoon, and anyway, we're here. And we're here really because of all you, for sure, but to help save the theater. And our hats are off to Quentin Tarantino for saving this place. And the world, as you know, of cinema is changing, and the art houses are going away, and it's a real big sadness. So it's great that you're supporting this theater, and hopefully the wave will come and they'll get popular again. It'll be really fantastic.
Yeah. I was gonna, since David is here, the question I had for you, Laura, is like, you know, the thing, and you've worked with David, this is the second of 3 times that you're with David, like, what would you say about the kind of the mood that he conjures up on set? Because what's amazing in the film is that you give all the performers like rope to be completely kind of fearless. And I was just wondering if you could talk about, you know, like how David gives you that kind of, you know, confidence to do that.
I get shy, and so does he when I have to answer any questions about working with him in front of him. But I would say that this was a major turning point for me as an actor and in our work together. Blue Velvet being the first time, and I was 17, and it was a very specific character. And this required a completely different character than I had ever been asked to do or even considered knowing how to conjure her up. And David certainly guided me through it completely and required me to be as bold and fearless as possible. And what I've always told him, which I'll share, is that I really feel like this movie for me shaped every choice I made as an actor after this, because he really made me feel like, you know, art is about fearlessness and the process, not the result, and all those great things. So it really changed what I longed for in characters. And then again, about 7 minutes ago, and I told him I would say this, I was like, God, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. What happens? He said, the credits were rolling. What's the last thing? He's like, don't you remember? He sings the song, and the camera goes like this. And so luckily, I'm caught up a little bit, so I can share stories. So I had to be reminded a little bit of what happens.
Let me just say one.
Oh, absolutely.
It's okay. Laura Dern is a great actress and a fearless actress. And Nick Cage is Mr. Fearless himself, too. And it's so good to see Steve Golan again. And Steve Golan is a producer. Very few producers have his gift. And he is so smart in the way he comes on in a set. He is so calm and makes it so much common sense. And it's impossible for me to get mad at Steve Golan.
Well, I got a question. This is kind of for both of you. Like, and you know, one of the most amazing things about the film is your mother's performance and the fact that you got to work together on this, and in such an intense way. And I wondered if, David, you could talk about the casting of Diane Ladd and Laura about working with your mother on the film.
Yeah, you saw what Diane did in this film. And then you think, oh, poor Laura to grow up with a woman. And there's a lot of truth to that.
Just as she puts on her lipstick.
But there's another fearless one. And most of the people in this cast are actors that you just can't dream up something that they're not gung-ho to do and make it real. It's so beautiful. So it's the greatest bunch. And Diane Ladd, I had the pleasure of seeing all the Ladd gang, Diane and Laura and Bruce Dern, get their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And Diane Ladd gave a speech. She just is amazing. She's a country preacher. She's fearless. She's a great actress. She's so intelligent, and she gave all these qualities to her dear, sweet daughter, Laura. It's really beautiful.
and Bruce was here on Monday. Like we did a Q&A with Bruce Dern for The Driver on Monday, which
Yeah, great.
an amazing raconteur you're doing. But what, can you tell us a little bit about working with your mum on this?
It was amazing, and I had never imagined that it would be quite like this, and I think I was sort of in shock. I was in shock because it was so familiar that I hadn't realized what was happening. It sort of took me a minute, and we were shooting. Was it our first day?
The first day in your house. No, first day was in your house. Right.
Oh, okay. So it was the second day that we were shooting with Nick, which was downtown at that hotel. Right?
Yeah,
we were coming up the stairs.
Early things.
Yeah. Or maybe that they worked together. And I remember coming up to the top of the stairs, and she sort of was standing in the wings as we were about to shoot. And as we were filming, because it was sort of a wider shot, Nick whispered in my ear, he's like, "That's real, Mom." and then even more disturbingly, he said, "I was just in a bathroom with her. I'm not going to tell you what happened." David sort of kept that scene from me, which was good until I saw it. But, it sort of took a while to sink in, and it was an incredible experience. And my grandmother, who's since passed, but adored David and, was thrilled that we were getting to work together, came to the premiere of Wild at Heart. And I remember her sitting next to me. David was like, "It's your grandmother, your mom's mom, and your grandmother." And at the end of the movie, she was the first person to run up to David, which may explain everything, and said, "Oh, David, that movie was so cute, and Nick sings just like him." So there you have it.
Well, let's say, because you have a lot of scenes together, but actually some of Diane Ladd's most intense scenes are without you. So were you on set for any of those, or did you see when the film was finished?
When the film was finished, which I was kind of happy about, except I think the day we were on the stage doing My Mom Riding a Broom. And I remember her on the broom as they were about to the image of her riding on the broom, and she said to me, "Just think how much money I'm saving you on therapy." But I think that's the only image that has still sent me, actually to therapy. But pretty much, I think that's sort of all I knew. And in fact, what happens, David was very elusive about in terms of flashbacks of Nick's, because they're sort of not mine. He kept sections of the script from me, which was fantastic, actually, for me as an actor, and really helpful.
One thing I was going to say, you were saying about the new Beverly. I saw your amazing thing on the internet where you're kind of tirade against watching movies on iPhones, which I totally agree with. And one of the great things about this place is that, and Quentin, in terms of helping this place, is his commitment to 35mm projection. There's no digital projector upstairs, and I think Quentin was quoted as saying, "The day that the new Beverly has a digital projector is the day that he'll burn it down." I just wondered, because of that, sort of how important is it to you in terms of these films being seen on the big screen as they were intended?
Very super important. Big screens, big sound, good projection. I'm not with Quentin on celluloid.
Well, you've made a digital film as well, yeah.
And to get a great digital projector along with the other projector, it would be beautiful. The thing about a digital print, it's no scratches, no burns, no dirt. All this exactly the same. Every print, pretty nearly. Depends on the projector, I guess. But there's no breaks, and everything is going to be just right for the people and for you. So it's so beautiful. So many things can go wrong with celluloid in that projector. And then you sit there and you watch and you start thinking about that film going through that projector, you go crazy.
Well, I noticed one thing that you do on your DVDs, which I think only you do, and I think is amazing, is that you don't have any chapter stops on your film, so you have to watch it from start to finish.
Now there's chapter stops. I'll tell you why. You figure a real cinema person is going to see it all the way through the first time. And then they're going to maybe want to see sometime along the way a scene that they want to see and not the rest of the film. And to make them go all the way through and try to find it and remember where it was, they're there to help them for that. But it's good to see a film all the way through the first time in a dark room, nice and quiet, other things quiet, let the film be the sound, and, you know, no interruptions.
Great. You guys are going to run on the second one. These guys are going to go, but let's just take a couple of questions. If anybody's got any questions, this man.
I've just got a question about, just listening to what you were saying about, it sounds like you're really considering the audience. And seeing some of your work, I'd always had in my mind that you were producing art for yourself, but it sounds like you're really considering the audience. So I don't know if this is even the right question to ask you, but when you're producing a movie like this, are you making it for yourself, or primarily do you have the audience in mind?
Totally for myself. But the audience is right there behind. And the reason you're doing it for yourself is that you're trying to get every element correct, to feel correct to you. Then you have the hope that if you get it close to that, it's going to feel correct to an audience. And so it's not that you send a questionnaire out on every single element, but you check it with yourself till it feels correct, hoping that it'll translate over to the audience.
Okay, and this man?
I was excited to hear recently that Blue Velvet was getting a Blu-ray release with all the bells and whistles and remastered and new behind the scenes. Can we expect the same for Wild at Heart anytime soon?
Wild at Heart I'm not sure if it's ever gone 5.1. Has it? You guys know? But it's got a great and killer stereo mix. And it's so powerful, if you've got a good system, it can, when it was shown there, the screen lifted away. It was really, really, really thick and rich. On the lime green box, there are deleted scenes from Wild at Heart. Is that what you're talking about?
I've seen those, yeah. I was just wondering if there was...
Would you want more?
Not necessarily. I was excited to hear all the new behind the scenes that were coming out on the, the Blue Velvet with unreleased footage that we'd never seen. So I was just wondering.
And Blue Velvet, there was one scene in particular that I was dying to find. And I called Dino, and Dino, they were looking and looking, and they could not find any of the lifts, any of the B negative, nothing. And this was years after Blue Velvet, and they just said, it is gone. And it broke my heart. But I started trying, living with that knowledge that it was gone. Then, lo and behold, they found all the stuff somewhere near Seattle. I don't know how it got there. And it's there. So it's being transferred now, and it's going to be sent to me, and I'm going to see all the things that are there. But everything is there, apparently. So it's a really beautiful story, but it's just deleted scenes. You know what I mean? I don't know. They are out of the picture for a reason. So, but they're there.
Okay, this man.
Sir, would you ever consider a sequel to Eraserhead? And Ms. Dern, how is it that you do not age?
Good question.
Do you want money? You're a great guy. Now, Jack Nance passed away. And you couldn't do a sequel to Eraserhead without Jack. So there won't be one. but I love that world.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if I ever get to go back into that kind of world, but I would love to do that.
Laura, you have to answer your part of the question.
I'm just so utterly thrilled.
Well, listen, these guys are going to go. They actually came from an event. I didn't know David was going to be here. This is only the
I didn't come from any event.
Yeah.
It was the Skid Row event.
Listen, this is only the first half of the double bill. I hope you got your fucking $7 worth of records.